Happy Friday, y'all. I wanted to do this video using the whiteboard, but to be honest, I just don't have the time. It is Friday, and I used to do my numbers every Friday, so let's change it a little bit. We're going to do Friday finance video. I want to talk about debt today, and we're going to talk about good debt and bad debt, which is a concept that I'm really just starting to learn about. Everybody knows about debt. You know, everybody knows that it can be bad, it can be overbearing, it can drive you into bankruptcy, it can cause you to lose your house and car and stuff. Everybody knows that. But the concept, it's broken down a little differently than just debt, you know, just borrowing money. The concept is basically that there are two types of debt. You have your good debt and you have your bad debt. And your good debt is debt that makes you money, that is earning money. Like, say you buy a duplex somewhere and you rent that out, and you're making $500 per apartment. So that gives you $1,000 a month that duplex is making you. And your note on the duplex is only $500 a month. That means you're profiting $500 a month on the duplex, as long as you keep renters in it. And that is my definition of what would be good debt. Now, everybody's definitions of debts can be different. This is from my studies and from what I think a good debt is. A good debt is a debt that you take on that is to make you money. Just like the debt that we go into when we buy a semi-truck. That truck, as long as we can make it move, is going to make us money, and it's going to make us profit. So the debt that we incur on a truck or a semi-trailer is not as serious as the debt that we incur on a house or on a personal car, because those items do not make you money, and they are a drain on your family's economy. So the quicker that you can get those bad debts paid off, the better off you will be. A house note is important because you got to have somewhere to live. But a lot of the rich people that I have studied, they didn't buy a house until they got financially free. And financially free in my book is when you're making 6 figures a year and you ain't got a whole bunch of any kind of debt. That's when I believe you're, a little bit more financially free than somebody that, say, like I was before I started owner operating, struggling to make $25,000 and $30,000 a year. That's not a good life. It leads to stress every week when you're waiting on your paycheck. And every debt that I had at that point was all bad debt. I had credit cards, I had house bills. Everything I had then was a bad debt. No debt that I had before I became an owner-operator was making me money. Nothing was profiting me. Everything I spent was just a dead expense, added on some interest charges. Now that I look back, I want to kick myself in the rump. There are things that you can buy and purchase out there that will actually pay for themselves. Especially if you start to research the, what is that word? Depreciation. Rental properties and such are really incentivized by the government, you can actually depreciate it to where it really, really lowers your tax burden. And all these are things that I'm trying to increase my financial education. I'm trying to study more about it every week, whether it be YouTube, whether it be buying a book. I've found some decent books that I'm listening to on audio, because I got me a CD player put in my truck not too long ago, and that's been a really good investment. And also, the information that's on YouTube, man, it comes from all walks of life. I've seen poor people that are selling cars. I've seen guys that have made it big by selling cars. Truckers that never had nothing and they started owner operating, and now they're building up a business. There's so much, and if you get out there and you do the research and you spend the time, you can really increase your financial education. Here lately, I've been looking at the stock market and day trading and stuff, thinking about if I want to get into some of that in the future. But I'm kind of leaning toward, if I invest anything, I'm going to invest the money in myself and in my own business, and to the hopes and wishes I have locked away in my brain. But I want you to sit down with a piece of paper. On one side, write good debt. On one side, write bad debt. And just stand back and look at that list. And you need to take a razor sharp focus at those bad debts. And let's get those bad debts out of there, and be thinking of ways that you can find something that can be a good debt. And that's going to bring your credit score up over time. When you can go through and you get a small business loan, or you decide you want to buy a duplex and you're going to rent it out, that entails its own list of problems. You know, you need to study up on eviction notices. You need to know a little bit about household maintenance and those types of things. But, you know, rental property can be pretty efficient. But I want to do a video about the contrast between rental properties and the money that you can make with a semi-truck. Which way would be best, and how many rental properties it would take to add up to just running one semi-truck. Anyway, that's what I want to talk today. Good luck, God bless, and I'll catch you on the next ride.